Hello Kindred Spirits, welcome back to Bits and Bob's Divination. My name is Caitlin and today we're going to be looking into the energy, insights, and guidance coming through for you through tarot and charms for the next 2 weeks. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Alright, so welcome back my beautiful kindred spirits and anyone new who may be joining us here today. We are going to be playing around with the charms here again. I'm having so much fun with these 2-week readings and I hope you guys are too. Feedback is amazing, so do let me know in the comments down below if you like this format. I love to hear your thoughts. But like I said, we're going to be looking into your next 2 weeks. You guys know the drill. We're going to be looking into 3 different piles here and you're welcome to choose which pile connects with you most. But before we start looking into the piles, I just want to remind you, if you are new, if you're up for it, or if you go throughout this reading and you're curious for more, do feel free to subscribe as I put out new readings every single Monday. And I also have educational videos on charm casting if that's something that interests you, and I also have some on other things like oracle and art magic and other things that you might be interested in. So do feel free to subscribe, and also you can check out the offerings that I provide down below for private personal readings that are snail mail readings, which I send to you in the mail for you to treasure and enjoy. I send them to you, and I also have digital readings that you can check out as well. All of the support that comes through those readings goes straight back into the channel and to support this space, so I truly do appreciate it. All of the information on those will be down below, but let's go ahead and look at these piles. So we have 3 different crystals here, or you can look specifically at the charms that are placed upon each of the piles to see which one is calling out to you. But here for pile number 1, we have this piece of Lepidolite. It's this really soft stone that is similar to amethyst, but is a little bit pinker. It reminds me of like a little pink starry night. So that is pile number 1. For pile number 2 here, we have this dyed piece of quartz or some sort of moss agate. I'm not exactly sure, but I like to call it the cotton candy stone because it just looks a lot like cotton candy to me, like a blue cotton candy. So that is pile number 2. And then last but not least here for pile number 3, we have this sort of dual toned gray alongside purple tones for, again, another sort of dyed stone. I'm not exactly sure what stone it is, but I'm going to call it the bubblegum stone. So this is like a bubblegum purple stone for you, pile number 3. Can you tell I'm hungry by the titles of each of these? But before we start heading into it and before you start heading off to the timestamps down below, I just want to take a moment and invite you to really connect with your intuition here and take a deep breath with me as we center our energy and ground. So let's go ahead and take that deep breath together here now. And as always, there's no right or wrong way to choose your piles here. You can choose all 3 of the piles, you can flip-flop between piles, you can go to a pile and change your mind and just take what resonates and leave what doesn't. There really is no right or wrong way here. So do feel free to check out the timestamps for each of the piles down below, as well as within the chapter marks of this video. And if you'd like to, like I said, if you want to support this space even further, the private readings and snail mail readings will be down below. But you can also check out my Instagram, as that's a great way to not only support the different offerings that are going to come in and to be updated on them, but it's also a great way to just see the other things that I get up to in witchery, art magic, and queer things. So do feel free to check that all out down below, and let's go ahead and get started here with pile number 1. Hello group 1, if you've decided to choose this piece of Lepidolite that looks a bit like the night sky if it were purple, then this is the pile for you. I'm going to go ahead and set it here so you can see it during your reading, as we are going to be using the charms here again. So in the past couple of weeks and since the start of this new year, I've been playing around with doing these 2-week readings with charms. So if you're not new, or if you are new to the channel, then I'll be sure to let you know how this is all going to play out. But for those of you who are typically here on our 2-week readings, it's wonderful to have you guys back here again. Like I said, we're going to be using the charms. We're going to use numbers as well as letter tiles. We're going to be using one specific tarot deck today, and that is going to be the Modern Witch Tarot, which I was feeling really called to today. It felt like just like it was jumped out at me right away. Sometimes it takes me like a half an hour to choose which decks, but today it was like, this is the one. So I'm feeling really calm, feeling really ready to go, and if you guys are and would like to, feel free to get, a nice little beverage, get cozy somewhere, listen to some music, get yourself ready for this, and let's get into your next 2 weeks. Before this, I was jamming to some music, so I'm like all hyped up for you guys' reading. So we are going to begin with looking at your letters. So we're going to see what specific letters are coming in first, and then numbers as well, and then we'll start moving into the more detailed parts of your next 2 weeks. So first off are letters. So these are going to be showcasing specific names, dates, initials, places. It could showcase all sorts of things, but I also like to look for oracle messages and ways of communicating through these. So let's see what's coming in for you for the next 2 weeks. Do feel free to send your energy in through time and space. So right off the bat, the things that I was seeing here, we have first letter that came out was the letter O, and then following that was M-A-D. So I see mad. So there could be things that are going to make you maybe feel a bit frustrated over the next 2 weeks. You could just feel like your emotions are a bit heightened over these next 2 weeks, or the way that you communicate your emotions maybe come off kind of more on an aggressive side. So these are just things to keep in mind moving into your next 2 weeks if this is something you want to be aware of. Outside of that, though, I also saw, like, I know it says motto, but it's making me think of like motto, almost like maybe it's, I feel like for some of you there's a specific motto or a quote that is going to really hit you over these next 2 weeks and is maybe going to help clear your mind, clear maybe some of the frustration that you have, or give you a reminder of, sometimes we have those quotes that we just like live by, and I feel like some of you have those like written in a planner or written on a wall, and sometimes we just pass by them because they're just part of the decor after a while. But I think you might be finding that some of those things that you've kind of forgotten about are going to sneak back in and are going to be really good reminders over these next 2 weeks. Outside of that, though, let's see what else you have here. So we also have another letter of O, E, G, and R. Maybe Greg. I also see like grade, like grading. So some of you might be in school, maybe there's something happening, maybe some of you just got out of like spring break. I know that you might just be getting back into the swing of things. For some of you, I could also see that maybe you're just being a little bit too hard on yourself over these next 2 weeks as well. For those of you who maybe are outside of school, maybe you just feel like you're putting like a really harsh grade on yourself, a really harsh set of standards or expectations on yourself, or maybe others also, and maybe that's where that sort of mad feeling and frustration might be coming from. Let me see what else I see here. I also saw doe, which just made me think of, obviously a deer, but it's making me think of the idea that some of you might be feeling a little skittish over these next 2 weeks as well. Like maybe you're facing someone, maybe the mad is something that you're using in an empowering way. Sometimes we talk about anger as it's always a bad thing. It's always something that, we should push or we should suppress or, but sometimes the reason why we get mad is there's a reason for it, right? It's not just out of nowhere. So I feel like for some of you, it might be that you are, instead of like flying away from the situation, you might be fighting for something. Instead of fleeing, you might be fighting and advocating for yourself a little bit more. So I could see that as well for some of you, and kind of like sticking up for yourself as well. And leave the letters there for you. Do feel free to just take these and look at them and write them down even, and scramble them up yourself and see what else you might get. But we're also going to cast in your numbers. So these could be useful to showcase specific dates, especially since I do these 2 week ahead readings like in the later half of the month. Sometimes they don't always align with dates, so see what comes through. But we're also going to see if you have any angel numbers, spirit numbers, or repeating numbers that might be coming through with numerology. So do feel free to send your energy in, and let's see group 1 next 2 weeks. Okay, so you have the number 7, 7, 1, and 9. Okay, so we've got like 9, 7, 7, 1. 7s have a lot to do with introspection, kind of looking in. 9 is giving me more of that like red, abrasive sort of number. So I am also seeing that 9 has a lot to do with like finishing things up or resolving something. So it's like right on the teetering edge of like an ending where 10 or 13 would be. So I'm really feeling like you might be introspecting over something and kind of, I feel like there's something like a conversation that went wrong, or possibly a situation that's come up a lot lately that, again, like you feel like you need to advocate for yourself, stand up for yourself a little bit more in, and I can see that coming in with that number 9. Outside of that, though, we also have the 17th, maybe being really important for some of you. The 1 has a lot to do with the idea of a fresh new start as well, so it could be refreshing something with someone by clearing the air. But also the 19th, right? So we have the 19th or the 17th being really important days, possibly. Oh, also 1977, in case that comes through for any of you. But let's go ahead and see your main energy for the next 2 weeks. So we're going to pull one card here, but don't worry, we're going to be pulling a lot more here with the charms to seek out the rest of the more important details from week to week. But I want to see what the main energy is that's coming through for you over these next 2 weeks. So do feel free to send your energy in through time and space. And let's see yours. Group 1. What do you have coming in for these next 2 weeks? What is the main energy, the theme that's coming through most energetically for the next 2 weeks for group 1 here? Okay. So you have the 6 of Cups, which is really interesting, right? Because I was talking about that like aggressive, frustrated, kind of building up resentment energy. And the 6 of Cups has a lot to do with having a heart-to-heart with someone. As you can see, this person is sort of, if you think of the Cups as a conversation and a really important emotional conversation, you can see they're passing this conversation down. It can be that the things that you're maybe standing up for or having to sort of bring to the surface might have something to do with the past, something to do with maybe your inner child or how you were treated as a child. It could be something really heavy like that. It could also be something very much generationally passed down that you're maybe dismantling or breaking down in some way, advocating for yourself, advocating for others. I feel a lot of that coming through. The 6 of Cups also has a lot to do with looking to the past, introspection, looking back, right? So we have 1977 showing up. We have a lot of past energy with the 7s both for introspection. So I really do see that there might be something that's bubbling up and been bubbling up for a really, really long time that might be really surfacing. And I think that it can surface in a really aggressive way or a really explosive way. But the 6 of Cups shows a more gentle side to this. So I do see that you might be having a heart-to-heart or a way of being able to communicate to someone your feelings and your frustrations in the situation in a calm or more level-headed sort of manner. And so that's amazing to see showing up here, because it's not always an easy thing to do. But that is showing up here so far. I am super curious now to see what else is coming in. So we're going to be using our favorite little trusty handmade casting mat here, and what we're going to be doing is looking into the charms and everything here to look into that more on that main energy, so more to do with that 6 of Cups. And then this little half side of the board is going to be for week 1, and anything that lands on this side will be for week 2, and anything outside I'll talk about as we go through it. But let's go ahead and zoom out so you can see. And we're going to cast first the charms. So these are going to be the Charmcast Tarot charms. And they are different tarot cards cast in metal. And what we're going to do here is mix them up and see what you get. So do feel free to send your energy in. And let's go, group 1. Okay, definitely in your feels. Right here in the center, we're already getting a lot to do with the King of Cups showing up here. We have some pentacles, a little bit of evolution happening here with the Judgment card. The Judgment card has a lot to do with wake-up calls, and then we're going to see and reveal these as we go. But let's get the added details of the charms to give us a little bit more help here. So do feel free to send your energy in through time and space. Okay, interesting. I'm gonna zoom you in so you can see here, and I'm gonna start here in the center. But yeah, we have a lot showing up here within your charms. There are a lot of charms kind of sitting, especially in week 1. But let's start here in the center. So interestingly, the things that are showing up here, I talked about something coming head on or feeling like something's kind of bubbling up and like, you know, coming to head. And it's interesting that I've never seen this charm actually land on its head. Which it's hard to even get to do now, but it landed straight on its head. Like, things are coming to a head this week, especially in the second week, but it's very important and a big energy showing up for you. Like I said, we have that King of Cups energy. They are a very emotionally calm kind of person. They're really good at riding the waves. They're really good at tempering their emotions, right? So you can go through a really difficult situation and you're really able to temper your emotions a lot of the time, or at least within these next 2 weeks, you can see yourself really having to find resolve there from what is bubbling up. And maybe it's because there isn't a perfect way to create resolution right now. Maybe the person that you want to be angry with isn't around. There could be a lot of different reasons. But I see you kind of coming to peace with this. I do see something coming to head, but also coming to peace, right? I feel like it's like a wave, right? It's going to feel really intense, and then this like really big relief feeling right afterwards. We also have the monster charm showing up here, so it definitely is something that's frustrating you, or something that's coming from fear, or a place of like fear or a misunderstanding or something along those lines. So with that in mind, I'm gonna go ahead and move you out a little bit so we can look at the next 2 weeks. So we had, like I said, a lot showing up here, especially at the very first half of this first week, as there's not much showing up here as we move on down. The only tarot card that you got on this side of the board for your first week was the Four of Pentacles. And the Four of Pentacles has a lot to do with that bottling down energy. You can even see them, like if you think of these pentacles, right? They're holding them at their feet. They're stepping on them. They have them on their head. They're trying to balance everything. They're trying to hold it within their heart, right? They're trying really hard to hold everything in, trying really hard to keep their emotions, but also like even your mannerisms, the way you talk, the way you are, like it almost feels like you're just having to kind of put yourself in a shell or be some sort of expectation that is being put upon you. And a lot of that is going to be, like I said, coming to head and becoming like this really big release valve moment. Things maybe surrounding this situation. We have the swan. The swan has a lot to do with beauty, more of those like societal expectations from an outside point of view, beauty standards, physical appearance, things like that might be coming up. But it also has a lot to do with like grace and like this sort of poise energy. We have the cleaver showing up here, which is about clean cuts. Other charms we have here are the bear paw charms. So I always think of this as a bear for whatever reason because it says bear on it. And this is one side represents hibernation and one side represents action. And this fell on the side of action. It's about taking action. So right now, like I said, things are bubbling up, and it's probably because you've been kind of pushing it down, kind of keeping it tempered, keeping it, in. And this is just showcasing more about letting that out, letting it can't stop hibernating within you. There's also a lot to showcase winged energy, right? We have both the swan and we have this charm, which sometimes can remind me a little bit of like a phoenix that hasn't opened entirely yet. As you can see, they have like a little head here, so it kind of feels like a phoenix, sort of shy. So it's like at the very beginning of a phoenix kind of transformational phase in your life. So I do see that coming in. I also see, if you guys work with any spirit guides, they may be coming through within that first week. We have the more of that wave energy, right? A wave crashing. And then I also see a chain, which again feels a little bit like you're kind of chained back or held back in some way. And then we have the, interestingly, this is like a little Canadian coin. So I do sometimes think of this as energy about the fall. It can also represent like travel and outside currency, obviously, but it fell on the side of like this sovereign queen. I don't know a lot of Canadian history there, but they are wearing a crown, and I do feel also that there's again that societal expectation, something being placed upon your head that you didn't maybe ask for, a responsibility that you're really feeling overwhelmed by, and there's something coming in on that level. Over here on your moons, we have the bee charm, which usually represents like really good teamwork building skills, working as a team, having other people help you. And seeing as it fell on the side of it kind of being upside down is telling me that maybe you're feeling like what is creating this frustration is maybe that you feel like you're alone in this, or that other people don't understand from your point of view, especially since we have it on a phase of the moon, which is the release moon. It's about letting something go. So again, I feel like that energy of resentment that might be building there could be showing up. As for your second week here, we have, like I said, the Judgment card. This usually represents again, spirit sort of coming in. We have a lot of spirit guide energy, but I'm honestly getting a lot too of just like feeling like you're finally tooting your horn, saying what you need to say, and waking people up, right? This is sort of like the woke card, waking people up, waking yourself up from sort of an energy that you've been stuck in for quite a while. It's an evolution sort of charm. And then the other charms that we have showing up here that we didn't get to see. Ooh, interesting. So as this energy sort of kind of waves out, we have some new energy getting to be able to build in. And you have both the 7 of Pentacles as well as the 9 of Pentacles. And the 7 of Pentacles was upside down when I found it. So this is telling me that the wait is over. Something that you've been waiting on to come in, maybe in the second week. It could be something as simple as waiting for a package to come, waiting to be able to speak your voice, or something more, usually something more monetarily based, is starting to come in and is flourishing. So I see you being able to flourish a lot more in the second week. Having the relief and the release of that is going to give a lot more room for this to grow and things in your life to grow a lot more healthily. And I think it's going to be a really quick 180 as well. We also have, like I said, that knight charm. The knight in chess is a very sneaky one. They're one that can be able to move around other pieces in a very sneaky way. And so I do see that you're also going to be able to get a new perspective that you didn't have before that was blocked. And then your last charm that you have coming in here is the King of Wands. So we're moving from the King of Cups here to the King of Wands. The King of Cups all about in the emotions and those feels, and then the King of Wands having a lot more assertiveness, direction, action-based movement that's coming through. So like I said, I really feel like you're going to have a kind of big wave and release of something that's coming through where you feel like you just need to speak your mind, say something that's been frustrating you, really get it out there. And then afterwards, there's going to be this huge release and relief that comes from that gives you the opportunity to wake up and to move something forward that wasn't able to before because you were holding on to so much energy. There wasn't space for it in your mind, mentally, even physically, for you to get something going. And that can really flourish in the second week. Usually something about career or within your finances, even within just your physical like body and how you're feeling in it. So that's everything that I'm getting here for your next 2 weeks, group 1. I do hope that this reading was useful to you. Feel free to take screenshots or pause or look at any of this further if you'd like to. If you found this reading useful though, do be sure to give this video a like and let me know in the comments down below how it resonated. Both of those things are really great for YouTube, but also I'm always curious to hear your guys' thoughts. And also, if you'd like to, and maybe you're new to the channel, do feel free to subscribe as I put out these new readings every single Monday. And I have over 100 readings you can already check out on the channel if you're interested. All of my offerings will be down below as well, in case you want to support the channel and support yourself through those. It's a great way to be able to keep this place running. So if you want to check out the private readings that you can get booked down below, for snail mail readings, they'll be down there, as well as on my Instagram, where I have a lot more information and you can see more of what I'm up to. So that is everything that I have here for you guys today, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye! Hello group 2, if you've decided to choose this dyed piece of whatever it is, kind of crystal that I've named the cotton candy crystal, then this is the pile for you. I'm going to go ahead and set it down so you can see it for your reading down here, as we are going to be playing around with the charms here again today. I've been playing around with this new format. I love hearing your guys' feedback down below if you guys are enjoying this or you'd like to see other little tweaks or things like that. I do definitely consider those as we move through these weeks. But if you are new here, we are going to be using the charms as well as letters and number tiles, main theme energies for the next 2 weeks, and we're actually going to look into each week individually as well as a whole. So we have a lot to look into here today. Do feel free to get settled and ready to go. All of the information on the supplies and everything that I'm using here today will be listed in the description down below if you're curious. And yeah, let's just go ahead and get right into it here, group 2. So we are going to begin by looking into, first off, your letter tiles. So these are always going to be showcasing to us specific names, dates, places, and oracle messages that are coming through for you, specifically around communication, things like sword energy and stuff, but anything else that might be showing up here. So do feel free to send your energy in. Feel free to get settled, and let's get into it. So here we go. Group 2, what do you have coming in for the next 2 weeks? I was feeling a lot of letters for you all. So our first letters that came out were C, A, G, and Q. I'm not getting a lot after that. Oh, and also N. So those were our first letters. There's a lot of consonants in there. Sometimes that can talk about a lot of... I'm not really honestly getting too much from that, to be honest. I am getting change sort of showing up here in a really weird way of spelling it. Almost like looking at change from a very unique point of view. I do see that kind of hanged one energy coming in. We also have the letter A as well as O. Let's see what else here. I, H, D, and A. Yeah, we definitely have change coming in here in a different way. At first it was a different way of spelling it, but change being a really big one here, making change and personally putting change out there. I guess we don't really have the E, but regardless, it's coming through here quite heavily for me. I really just feel like you are ready for some changes, a refresh, a restart. It feels like really good changes, like sort of spring cleaning energy, changing things up, looking from a new perspective. I also see the letters H-I-D, so I feel like hide is showing up here. Again, we have like a missing E, but I do see like hide or something that's been hidden. I feel like it feels specifically like if you're waiting for a package to come in, it might be delayed. I feel like this is more of like a delay kind of feeling. So if there's something that you've been waiting to come in, a message or something more around communication or like a parcel of some sort, I feel like it's just going to take a little bit longer than you were expecting, or maybe in a different way. So that's coming through here. But I'm honestly not getting a ton from your letters today. I don't feel like they are heavily having a lot to say, but do feel free to mix them up in your mind, write them down, see what else is coming through for you, because you have a lot here. So a lot of things might be coming in more personally for you. So let's move on to the numbers. So these ones are similar to the letters, but this time we're going to be looking for any names, and rather than names, more dates and specific dates that might be showing up over the next 2 weeks, but also any angel numbers or specific numerology that might be coming in, spirit numbers and others, other repeating numbers. So let's see what you have coming in here. So group 2, 2 weeks. Okay, the last pile also got 4, so we're going to see what's showing up here. And not just, I mean like 4 of these, but we also have the actual number 4, the number 7, 47, 11 showing up here, 11 having a lot to do with wish making, and then the number 10. Interesting. So you could have the 17th coming up, the 18th even, 14th. So those early teens might be coming in quite heavily for you as big dates. Also, because you had the 11 number, a lot of the time whenever I see 11 show up, it usually represents, like I said, a wish coming true, or something that you're manifesting or trying to get going is coming through quite heavily, and more possible, more opportunities for that to happen over these next 2 weeks. But again, I don't feel like I'm getting a lot from the numbers today. I feel like usually I do, but for whatever reason, I feel like they're like, okay, let's just get to the charms. Like, let's get to the heart of the reading. So let's just start getting into it, right? They clearly have something to say. So let's not waste any more time. Let's see your main energy for the next 2 weeks. So I like to think of this as like your theme for the next 2 weeks, the energy that's coming in most prevalently for you. And we're going to be pulling just one card here. But as we get into the casting cloth and the charms and other things, we're going to get into those nitty-gritty details. So let's see. Do feel free to send your energy in through time and space. It definitely makes a difference. And let's see, group 2, the next 2 weeks. What do you have cooking up there? What are these charms trying to tell us? Because clearly they have something they want to say. Group 2. What do you got coming in, group 2? All right, so let's see what flew over here. So we have the 4 of Pentacles. Interesting, this also came up in group 1. So if you're not sure if this was the pile for you, or if you were also feeling called to group 1, it might be beneficial to see both pile 1 and 2. But yeah, you're getting here the 4 of Pentacles. The 4 of Pentacles has a lot to do with feeling a little bit cooped up. I'm getting a cooped up feeling, honestly, from this. It feels like kind of cabin fever-y, stuck, staying in, feeling kind of, stagnant, stuck. You know, like I said, the very beginning of this entire pile was feeling like change, or looking from a new perspective, or clicking the reset button. And I really feel like some of you are feeling like you just need a refresh, a reset, a restart on something, and just to get something going and cleaning things up to be able to do that. And so whenever I see the 4 of Pentacles, it can go one of both ways, right? We have one way where it feels like there's a resistance to change, but rather I feel like you're being kind of cooped up and you're ready for change. The change may be within a job, it could just be within the home, but honestly, I feel like it's more of an emotional, physical level, right? Like wanting to physically go outside, I know that we're kind of hitting that like teeter, especially in the northern hemisphere, if you like with the weather, it's just been kind of going back and forth, wishy-washy, this fake spring back and forth. So I feel like a lot of us are feeling that like stuck in energy, and I feel like that might be continuing over these next 2 weeks, but let's see what else we can do about it. So I'm going to go ahead and set this over here, and we're going to start looking into this casting cloth. So for the center of the cloth, we are going to be here, let me just get things off of here, but we are going to be looking into more on that 4 of Pentacles and any other energy that might be coming through for you. And then on this little half of it will be the first week, and this will be the second week in your next 2 weeks. And anything else that falls on the moon phases, we'll talk about those individually. So let me zoom you out so you can see the whole cloth here. Tripping over my words today. Interesting. I wasn't in the first pile, but that makes sense with the way that your pile's been going. It just feels kind of like fumbly. So let's see what else is coming in here with the different tarot tiles that I have here. So we'll start with those. So feel free to send your energy in through time and space as always. Okay, so a lot of them fell upside down. They're very mysterious here for you all. So we will be revealing those in just a moment. We didn't have anything specifically fall more on that Four of Pentacles energies, which just tells me that that Four of Pentacles energy is quite present within these next 2 weeks. They didn't have a lot more to talk about. And then you also have the Page of Cups showing up here, which I find really interesting, especially on an action moon. This is showcasing like new creative pursuits, new ways in which you might be meeting up with people, right? Might be able to communicate with your friends a little bit more. There's a little bit more connection there happening within friends, family, and yourself that you weren't able to do previously, and you're starting to gain a little bit more momentum there. But like I said, the charms always come in to give us more of those details. So do feel free, as always, to send your energy in. You're welcome to also give this video a like if you've been enjoying it so far. I know we don't have a lot of energy yet, but we're going to see out a little bit more here. So let's see, group 2. Okay, they are avoiding the middle, right? There is a lot of energy that is avoiding itself right here. Every charm that I have thrown at it has decided to jump right out. So that's just telling me again that Four of Pentacles energy is strong within your next 2 weeks. It is definitely that main energy coming through quite heavily, is that feeling of just feeling kind of stuck in sort of stagnation energy. And it's not that you're not going to be able to pick up momentum, because we're definitely seeing that show up here, but let's see the specifics in the next 2 weeks. So we'll start off by zooming you in, and we're going to reveal what we have here for week 1. So here at the top, we have the Queen of Swords as well as the Star. The Star came in a reversed position, but I want to see a little bit more on that. So we also have the not the 10 of Swords, the 8 of Swords showing up here with the 6 of Swords. Very different energy. So on one half of the week, we have a lot showing up here to showcase sort of a block in momentum. And then by the second half of the week, which is right here, definitely towards the weekend, we're getting a lot more of coming out of that stagnation. As you can see, even with the 8 of Pentacles reversed here, that they, when it's upright, showcases them kind of feeling stuck in, roped off, held back in some way, especially within their thoughts and within their mind. And this is kind of showcasing a little bit of a release from that, especially right next to the 6 of Swords, which is all about moving away and kind of pushing through those thoughts to get to another place, and this is usually a more optimistic point of view. So I really see you kind of lifting things up by the second half of the week. I can see you getting a little bit more momentum, especially. I think the momentum that you're hoping for is going to be a lot slower than you may like. We have a lot showcasing you kind of being kind of stuck in your mind, kind of ruminating thoughts, kind of staying within that mind space quite a lot over the next 2 weeks, because we do have the Patterns charm. This is to showcase like staying in the same patterns and, you know, doing the same routines, doing the same thing, getting kind of caught in that same day, same thing over and over. Went to bed, woke up, did the same thing, went to bed, woke up, did the same thing kind of energy. And it feels like you're kind of starting to get a little bit more momentum away from that. You're starting to see more of that energy of the Star, which the Star is such a beautiful card. It showcases a refresh and a restart for sure, right? They're even like cleansing their body, cleansing their mind, being able to navigate and see a new path. So I definitely see things starting to awaken around that time. I do see that the sun or an actual star may be really related to that. I'm pretty sure, at least here in the United States, we're going to be having daylight savings happening over these next 2 weeks. So I do feel like maybe the sun coming back could be helping a lot of you, because we do have a lot of star energy showing up here. But as we get to the second week here, we have another card to reveal. So on the second week, it's showcasing the Temperance card. So Temperance is about balancing things out, finding a little bit of balance, which is also interesting because that is also happening within these next 2 weeks. We're going to be having on a kind of global level a evening out of night and day, right? We're going to be having the equinox on both sides of the hemisphere. So I definitely see that a lot of you are going to start really feeling like your actual environment is going to be, has been, and is going to continue to be really influential on how you're feeling, because I feel like your next 2 weeks, there's not like things that are happening that are really big, like, a new promotion, a new this, moving house, something really big and influential and exciting or intense. But I do think that just like the whole point of your next 2 weeks is just sort of getting out of that sticky, muddy nighttime energy that the winter has been, or if you're in the southern hemisphere, it could also just be that it's just been really hot, and that summer kind of sticky energy moving into the fall could be really nice. Either way, that shift in season and within weather, or even just the hope of it, because the star has a lot to do with the hope, I do see you really kind of coming out of your shell, being able to gain a little bit more in energy levels on a physical level, vitamin D level, on just like those little things that we take for granted, but really do, keep us running. And so I feel you feeling that temperance energy by the second week, things starting to really temper out, especially within your energy levels, and that's giving you a lot more space to be able to see friends, to be able to see family, to be able to give a little bit more of yourself to others emotionally, where you maybe felt stuck or kind of glued down or low energy levels previously. So other things that are showing up here, more to showcase that you might be seeing friends or family that you hadn't seen in a while. This usually represents a person or a one-on-one conversation. And then we have more of that sort of Eight of Swords energy that I was showcasing earlier, where you felt really tied up. And I feel like the ties aren't near as complex as they were before in your mind. They're really starting to unknot themselves, because this isn't like a chain, right? This is just a twisty tie that you put on your bread or something, right? It's not that hard to undo. So I really do see yourself sort of untwisting the knots that have been around you for a little while and gaining a little bit more of that sort of tempered energy. And then what's kind of funny is right here where the two kind of meet, we have the Queen of Swords next to another sort of queen energy that I get from this queen key. So whenever I see this, it usually represents a specific queen coming through. And for you, I feel like it is the Queen of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles has a lot to do with regaining a connection to the earth, regaining a connection to what just grounds you and makes you feel kind of whole. There's a lot of energy showcasing, right? Again, a lot to do with nature, the seasons. So I would say in the second week, getting a nature walk, going out in nature, being able to connect with nature, even if it's not always the perfect, sunniest, best day. Just getting outside can do wonders for you. And I honestly feel like a lot of you just need that physical boost. And that's what's really showing up for you over these next 2 weeks. So overall, that's everything that I have for you, group 2. I do hope this has been useful for you. I'm going to go ahead and move this back into frame in case you want to take a screenshot or look deeper into the letters or numbers in case they are showcasing more to you than they had at the beginning. But like I said, I feel like you're really going to come out of this shell. You're going to be able to get a little sunlight, a little bit of vitamin D, a bit of a nature walk, and kind of allow yourself to temper that energy that's been feeling a little bit stuck in for a while. So definitely listen to the weather, things like that. They're going to be quite influential on your mood and your energy levels over the next 2 weeks. So that's everything that I have for you, group 2 for the next 2 weeks. Thank you so much for being here. If you did enjoy this reading, do be sure to give this video a like. It really does help the channel so much. Also, let me know in the comments down below how it resonated for you. I'm always curious with these charms because they could go so many different personal directions. So I'd love to hear what you saw. And then also, if you'd like to, do feel free to subscribe as I put out new readings every single Monday. You're also welcome to check out my Instagram down below where you can see all the different offerings that I provide. I also have it in the description down below on the snail mail readings and private readings that you can get, as they're a great way to support this space and to support this channel to keep it running here. So do feel free to check those out down below. And with everything said, I do hope that you have a wonderful next 2 weeks, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Hello group 3, if you've decided to choose this specific stone with the purple and the speckles, then this is the pile for you. I'm going to go ahead and set it down here so you can see it during your reading today, as we are going to be doing the typical format that I've been doing since the beginning of the year, where we're going to be doing a heavily charm-based reading. If you're new here, I will talk you through how we're going to be going through this here today with the charm mat and everything. But if you've been here for a while, I'd love to hear your feedback on these 2-week readings. Let me know if this is the format you like or prefer, or if you like the previous format that I'd been doing before where it was more card heavy. I'd love to hear your thoughts, but like I said, we're going to just start diving into your energy over these next 2 weeks. So all of the information on all of the different supplies that I have here will be listed down below if you want to see that. All of my private readings will be down below if you want to support the channel, and everything else will be down there as well if you want to interact with me through Instagram or anything else. But like I said, let's just dive right into it. So we are going to be looking into your next 2 weeks first by looking into the letter tiles that you have coming in here. So these are specific letter tiles to look into your next 2 weeks for any dates, initials, places. You can even see this as street signs or other things that might be coming up very personally for you. So do feel free to put on your intuition hat and see what comes through for you. But we are going to see what comes in oracle-wise as well. So let's get into it, group 3. Let's see what you have coming in for the next 2 weeks, group 3. Okay, so let's see what you have coming in first. So we have the letter N and T that came up first, as well as N, G, and S. So we have a lot of north energy showing up here. We also have the letter U, L, G, F, J, and W. I don't know if you guys have been following along with any space stuff, but I'm quite a space nerd, and the JWST is sort of showing up here for me, which I know is very specific, and it feels more like a message of space exploration. It's a new space telescope that is out and about in the universe right now, which is really cool. But what it's making me think of is just that you're really exploring, that you're exploring options or exploring in a way that you hadn't been before, seeing new sights, seeing new solutions to specific problems that you've been trying to problem solve over these last 2 weeks or that have been arising lately. I definitely see that showing up here with this energy, which, like I said, is very specific and niche, but whatever reason, it just really felt important, so I had to bring that up. Let's see what else you have showing up here. So I'm going to turn these around so we can actually see them. I also see like a gust of wind. I see a lot of fun showing up here as well. So I really feel like you're going to have a lot of fun showing up here, a lot of playfulness. LG is making me think again of like LG phones and like evolution of phones and technology. So I'm getting a lot of like seeing things, problem solving, a technology kind of energy. Playful fun. Maybe some of you guys are going to be getting a new video game or like something that's very tech related, that's very fun, that's showing up here for you. Even like a new movie or TV show that you've been waiting for might be coming out within the next 2 weeks that you might be, gushing over and getting excited about. Regardless, I'm feeling a lot of like bubbly energy. I always get really excited when that happens. So I want to see what else is coming through here. But do feel free to look at the letters a little bit deeper, see what else is coming through for you over these next 2 weeks. You can scramble them up, write them on a piece of paper, and see what else is more personally coming through for you. But like I said, we're going to move on to the numbers now. So these are going to be looking into specific numbers this time instead of letters to see what's coming through for you in a numerological sense, but also for any angel numbers or letter or specific dates that might be coming through from spirit or that are going to be really important and impactful for you. Also repeating numbers. There's so many things that you can see in numbers. So let's see what's coming through for you, group 3. Okay, so we have 5 showing up here first off. Let's see what we have here. So we have the number 10, 11, 4, 4, and 10. So we have 2 repeating numbers of 10 and 4 here. So it could just be that the things that you're relating to, like I said, something that you're kind of trying to find solutions on, might have happened back on the 4th of the month. We also have the wish-making number that came up here whenever I see the number 11 showing up here. By itself, it usually just represents like getting going on like a dream or a manifestation or a wish that you've been kind of trying to push forward might be being answered over these next 2 weeks, or you can feel a little bit of momentum happening within that. So if you made a wish or if you're trying to get something going, I can see momentum showing up there. 10 has a lot to do with completion. It is a number of completion. It's about something coming full circle and finishing off loose ends. So I can also see that coming in here with that gust of wind that I felt earlier. It also made me think of that, right? Like kind of like getting the gust of wind under your sails. So I feel like you've completed something and you're now getting the wind to go on a new adventure or to go on something new or to look at new sights, to adventure further. So that's what I'm really getting here. We also have like more practically the 11th, the 4th, the 10th, or the 14th. Maybe even the 15th that might be showing up as more important dates over the next 2 weeks. But that's what we have here for letters and numbers. Let's move on to your main energy of the next 2 weeks now with tarot. So this is the only card that we're going to physically be pulling from a tarot deck of this size, but we are going to be pulling different charms from tarot charms. So do stay tuned for those. We're going to get into the details of each specific week. But let's look first into the main overarching energy of your next 2 weeks. So do feel free to get centered and like send your energy in. That always does make a really big difference, especially on when we're trying to pivot on one specific card for a collective. So do feel free to send your energy in while I shuffle here. But let's see what the main energy over the next 2 weeks is for you, group 3. Group 3, what is coming through as the main energy over the next 2 weeks? I can't tell which one it is, so I'm just going to leave it. Okay. So let's see what decided to come out. So we have the 10 of Pentacles. Interesting. The 10 again. So we have 10, 10, 10. Lots of 10 energy showing up here, which is all about completion, finishing something off, right? And the 10 of Pentacles has a lot more to do with the energy that showcases in the idea of legacy, of working towards something, a much bigger goal. It's something that usually takes years, months, a lot of time poured into to get a desired result from, right? So in this case, it's showcasing like a home, right? It takes a lot of time to get a home, to get a loan, to get the money, to finally get that thing. It can also be talking about like in terms of actual time, right, to go through your whole life to get to this stage. It can also be showcasing family, right? That's something that takes a lot of time, energy, years to grow with someone or with yourself. So there's a lot to do with legacy or building something quite deeply here. And like I said, you might be finishing something off. Maybe you had a previous goal that you'd been trying to manifest and it's finally coming to an end, or finally kind of getting the gust under your sails to get moving. I feel like some of you are either at the very end of this and just starting a new journey, or some of you are just finally starting the journey to get towards this goal. I feel like you could go both ways, but I feel like these next 2 weeks is really pivotal to get that gust under your sails and get moving. So I really see a lot of movement for you over these next 2 weeks. But I think it's going to be for something that's a long-term goal. So it's not something that's going to be quick or easy or fast that you're working on, but something that might be career-based, money-based, family-based. Like I said, those really big long-term things. So let's see what's coming in for the rest of your charms with the charm cast tarot here. So I'm going to zoom you back out so you can see everything. So we're going to look more into the center here of this charm casting mat to seek out more energy on that 10 of Pentacles and see if anything else is coming in here on that main energy. But then we're also going to be looking into your next 2 weeks with each of these corresponding to them. So this is week 1, and then on this side of the split is week 2, and anything that falls on the moons we'll talk about individually. So let's start out by getting you some Charmcast tarots on this mat, right? So do feel free to send your energy in into the bag, into the void, and we're going to see what you've got coming in here, group 3. Okay, so you have a lot that is showing up upright here, which hasn't been happening for the other piles. So I really feel like there's a lot of energy that's just very open-ended, very, it's very, like, I feel like you're, what's a way of saying this? Like I said, like there's this bubbly, fun, playful energy, which also means that I just feel like your inner child is really showing up, that you're showing your face more, you're showing your emotions more, you're more just open in general, right? Like your smile is more open, your emotions are more open. So I really feel this open and kind of free feeling from your charms already. Your main charm that came through here for you so far, and I will zoom this in just a moment after we get your charms fully, you have the main one of the 3 of Cups. We also have the 2 of Cups, Strength, the 4 of Wands, as well as the Page of Cups showing up here. But we're going to see what we're going to have revealed here in a moment within the moons. But let's see first by getting some more information with the charms. So let's mix these up, shall we? Okay, I gave you guys quite a few here. I just feel like you have a very complex moving parts kind of energy that's showing up here. We also have, in case you were looking for another letter that was showing up with all of the rest of the letters that you have over here, you also have the letter M showing up here, more of that movement, and it's the one that flew the most far, like the farthest away within the charms. So I really feel like it was like, again, like casting a movement, casting yourself out, casting a net, lifting that anchor. So that's showing up here, and it's showing up on the new moon, which is all about new, fresh starts. So I feel like a lot of you are going to be at that first beginning stages of something of a long-term project. So let's see first by zooming in to the center here, more on that first main energy that came up. So like I said, we already talked about the 10 of Pentacles showing up here quite heavily for your main energy, but you also have, alongside those long-term goals, you have a lot showing up here about socialization. The 3 of Cups here has a lot to do with like the ultimate friendship card. This is about gaining friends, get-togethers, family get-togethers, just really feeling connected to the people that you love, the people that you really feel are your closest people, right? So there's something a lot to do with about socialization coming up here over the next 2 weeks, being quite a heavy part of your next 2 weeks, which makes sense. You also have the 2 of Cups here and the Page of Cups. The Page of Cups having to do with new friends possibly coming in, the 2 having more to do with reconnecting with kindred spirits in your life and other friends on a more one-to-one level, where this is more of a group gathering. So I really feel like there's a lot of things also to celebrate over your next 2 weeks. The screw that's showing up here sometimes is kind of funny, right? Sometimes it can make me think of like the idea of like, man, we're screwed, right? This just feels like kind of down in the dumps, feeling kind of crappy about life. You're feeling kind of screwed in a situation, a tough situation to be in. And it could be just that one of your friends might be going through something that's quite tough right now, one of your close loved ones. So it might be something to check in as well, or to kind of pep them back up, that might be showing up here over the next 2 weeks as well. So as we move out a little bit further, let's go ahead and look at the rest of the board here for your first first half of the next 2 weeks. So your first week, what is coming in here? So we have strength showing up on both sides, as well as the Four of Wands, which tells me that those are going to be something that continues over both of the 2 weeks. So like I said, with the Three of Cups, it has a lot to do sometimes with celebrating each other's differences. It can also talk about just kind of pepping people up and showcasing another person's wins and reminding them of like optimistic point of views and things like that are showing up here. And whenever I see the Four of Wands, it has a lot to do with that same sort of energy. This is about something that you're building and that you want to showcase and you want to show off and you want to be like, look, I'm building this castle, can't you see? So I really feel like if you are working towards a long-term goal, especially within the next 2 weeks, right, it would make sense that it bridges both of the weeks if it's a long-term one, that I feel like you have the strength to pursue it. I feel like you're really working really hard for it. You can see a lot of courage, a lot of strength, a lot of maybe even like physical, like you have to really get physically into whatever it is that this goal is related to. Maybe it's working on a house, maybe it's doing something, like I said, like physical fitness or something like that. But whatever it is that you're building up towards that long-term goal, I see a lot of really beautiful communication happening with some loved ones who are going to really pep you up, remind you of what you're doing, and kind of encourage you. There's a lot of encouragement. That's the word I was looking for. Other things, like I said, we have you reconnecting with some friends in the first week. The Page of Cups also is like a very young inner child feeling that I'm getting from this one, especially since we have more of that bubbly inner child energy showing up here with the bubbles charm. This also has a lot to do with spring, but I really feel like you are getting your bearings is what I'm getting from this specific card, because in the background you can see these little waves, and right under them they're kind of getting their bearings on this new wavy surface. So even though you are starting a new long-term project, that doesn't mean that there's not going to be, even though there's encouragement there, even though there's like excitement there, it doesn't mean that there's not going to be waves. And I feel like you're starting to get more acquainted to those waves and being a lot better equipped with them. And then, like I said, there's just more encouragement coming in here. Other things that are showing up within the first week, we have more inner child, young, playful, just starting out energy. There's so much playful fun. Like, I feel like there's just like a laughter that's bubbling up within me that's showing up here within that first week. So you could just be, like I said, some of you maybe have been looking forward to a specific movie or TV show or something like that might be coming out. It could even be that that's just like really getting your inner child like excited. But this is a little Simba charm, so it makes me think of like being wild, young, and free, but sometimes a little naive as well. So make sure that you don't have any missed steps showing up here because you don't have the knowledge yet. Other things that are showing up here, we have the lotus having a lot to do with sort of finally getting something to bloom that took a lot of time and energy. So we've already talked a lot on that. And then we have between the 2 weeks, again, another charm sort of bridging them both. And this is the plane charm. Whenever I see this, it represents travel. So it doesn't have to be that you're traveling by plane, but it just could be that you're traveling to go see someone. It doesn't have to be across the country. It could just be, 20 miles away from you. But the point is, I could see you traveling, getting out of the house, going somewhere that's really impactful and important for you. Could even be that it takes a little bit of strength and courage to do so, but I see that coming up here, especially when it's so close to the Haya charm and other charms like it. Let's talk about some of these moon ones before I move to the next 2 weeks, because you have so much showing up here, I don't even know where to begin. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom you out a little bit. So we have two different ones. So we have the I keep wanting to say Eight of Pentacles with this one today, I don't know why, but the Eight of Swords, but reversed. So this is on the release moon of the last quarter moon, which is all about release, relief, letting something go. And I really feel like whatever might have been holding you back previously, it's starting to unravel and let go. If you're feeling really called to this one, do feel free to check out group 2 as well. And there's that new innocence coming through and that movement and momentum. So honestly, I don't think this is going to last very long. I think you're going to find your way out of this situation very quickly. As for this side, we have the Emperor showing up here close to the full moon, which means that as we move through the cycle, as the illumination comes in, we have a lot of hard work showing up here and really being recognized. So I really feel like your hard work is going to be recognized as we get closer to the full moon in terms of timing in the month, or the next full moon. That's when things are starting to really build up and that castle really starting to build. It also represents having structure, feeling less naive, feeling like you've got a little bit more of your bearings even more by then as well. So if you've been nervous or not sure, or you have questions about something, do feel free to seek out the answers to whatever this long-term problem or goal is that you're working towards, if you feel like you don't have all of the answers yet. And then on your second week, we're going to run through these real quick because we don't have as much time left, but we have here the Patterns charm, and interestingly, these ones came up in both of the piles recently. So like I said, I feel like there could be things you could check out in pile 1 and 2, but we have the Patterns charm next to the swan and the house. So this is making me think that, like, again, some of you might be working on a house or something within your community even. This is also the community charm. So I really feel like some of you are either working on the house, working around the house, getting outside, traveling. But I feel like that long-term goal might be related to something more physical along that idea. Or maybe it's working within also a workplace. And just sort of kind of prettying something up, kind of getting something back up to snuff that just hasn't been working as well anymore. And maybe that's what this project is. We also have, again, slow, long-term growth showing up here with both of these charms of the mistletoe and the turtle. And then you have the awareness charm showing up here as we move through the moon phases again. So again, I feel like there's might be some epiphanies, or like someone might give you some information. Like I said, we have that naivety. So even though you're starting with a lot of excitement and encouragement and like enthusiasm for this long-term goal, doesn't mean you have all the answers, the resources, or the tools. So I do feel like some of you might be having to gain some of that over these next 2 weeks. Start talking to other people, talk to your friends, see if they have the right tools, the things that you need physically or on a mental level for tools to get you through whatever it is that you're wanting to build here. And because of that, I also feel like that's showing up here with the Two of Cups even more. The Two of Cups having more to do with that Three of Cups energy, right? Getting together with people, more one-on-one. I see the Haya charm. And then, like I said, I feel like some of them might have ideas for you, and we have the Ideas charm. So I really feel like with this light bulb idea that they're going to be able to give you like an aha moment, remind you like, hey, why don't you use my saw to get this thing done? Or why have you not tried doing this before? You know, they might give you a new perspective, a new idea that you're going to be like, oh my God, why didn't I do that before? So I really see that coming in week 2 as well. Goodness, I had so much to say for your guys' group. I'm going to go ahead and leave that there because there were so many charms. I could talk for ages about all the little details, but do feel free to ask any questions about it down below. If you have any ideas on or any feedback on the reading, I'd love to know. But if you did enjoy this reading, do be sure to give this video a like. It really does help the channel so much. Like I said, you can leave a comment down below, and you're also welcome to subscribe if you haven't already, as I put out new readings every single Monday. I already have over 100 videos that you can check out for pick a card readings and other educational videos on charm casting if you're interested. I have a whole master guide on charm casting that you can check out as well. But the last 2 things that I want to mention here before I lose my voice is to check out the different offerings that I have down below. You can check out the Kindred tip jar as well as the private readings that I have down there as well, to seek out a reading if you're interested in a snail mail reading, a reading that I can send to you in the mail for you to enjoy and to treasure, or I have digital readings and other readings that you can look into as well, to look into the nitty-gritty details that we maybe didn't get into here today. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for taking your time to just share your energy here with me and be vulnerable in this space. So thank you so much for being here, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.